I'm here in Boone, North Carolina to finish out my History of Boone series. In this video, I'm going to put clips of me interviewing Mayor Tim Futrelle of Boone. He was elected in 2021 and he's held the office for the past 4 years. We had a nice long 45-minute interview, so I'll put clips throughout this video. Here is the River Street parking deck. This is basically overlooking App State University. That mountain in the background right there, that's Howard's Knob. So yeah, let's get into it.
Boone, North Carolina, a small city nestled in the heart of the Blue Ridge Mountains, home to Appalachian State University. My name is Fabiano, and in this series, I'm taking a look through the history to see how Boone formed and where it's going.
This is the last part of this 6-part series, and in this video, I'm mainly going to talk about the modern town of Boone and what the future might entail for the town. Boone is home to a lot of tourism. Right, we have here, this is downtown King Street. I'm on top of the Horton Rooftop Bar in King Street and Boone. We have the Mass General Store, which is just right down there. There's Grandfather and Blowing Rock, right? Both of those are very scenic mountain attractions. We have two big ski resorts, Beach Mountain and Sugar Mountain, as well as Appalachian Ski Mountain, which is just a bit smaller than both of those, but is also very famous. There's a bunch of other stuff. Obviously, App State football is a big tourist attraction, so there's a lot of tourism in Boone that a lot of other mountain towns don't really see, besides obviously Asheville. In my interview with the mayor, I asked him a simple question about the tourism of Boone. I asked him, what is the best of these three options for tourism, right? First is, fall and football. And then second is winter and skiing. And then third is, cool summer months, right? So he talked in depth about each option, right? So summer, obviously, the rest of the South is incredibly hot. And here up in Boone, it's nice and cool. I'm recording this at the end of May, and it's like 65 degrees out here. It feels great, right? But then you have winter on the exact opposite. People come to Boone because it's so cold, right? Because in Boone, we actually get snow, and compared to the rest of the state and a lot of the South, they don't get snow like us, right? So people come here to ski and stuff. And then the last option, which he said was the most impactful for tourism, is the fall. And it's mainly because of two things. It's because, one, the pretty leaves, because if you've ever seen photos of the Blue Ridge Parkway, you can see the leaves there are magnificent, right? And then two, App State football. When App State has a football game, there is 33,000 people in attendance for that football game. That is more people, 10,000 more people than the town of Boone even has living in it, right? That is massive for tourism, right? Like I said, Boone is not a college town, but having App State here is super helpful and impactful. And this place right here where I am, this rooftop bar, would get absolutely packed with fans. King Street is going to have so many fans whenever the football team plays at home. I'm outside of the Watauga County Administration Building, so one of the questions I asked the mayor was, what is the connection between Boone and Watauga County? So before he was mayor of Boone, he actually sat on one of the commissioner seats for the county, so he knows a lot of the experience that they have to go through in governing the county itself. But besides that, you can literally see this building is a massive building with columns outside of it, and the town hall that I interviewed the mayor in is just another tiny brick building that looks like any other one of these buildings on King Street.
In my home city of Charlotte, power between Mecklenburg County and the city is relatively co-unanimous. To that extent, what is the balance of power like between the town of Boone and Watauga County?
Up until probably the last 4 years, 3 or 4 years, it has been contentious. There has been a lot of back and forth, unfortunately. And that I thought and believed was unnecessary whenever I came in to office. And from 2008 to 2012, I sat on the county commission, actually. So I was a county commissioner for 4 years. So I'd actually sat in their seats and I knew what they were going through. So I tried to leverage that, and I tried to leverage some of the relationships that I had in the county to help try and build a stronger bond. There are multiple reasons for that, but the main reason is that if you get along better, then obviously you can get more things done, right? But another aspect of that is the power dynamic. And I think through good relationships and strong relationships, you kind of level that playing field a lot. People don't feel like they have to leverage what power they have in order to influence you in a way that maybe would be uncomfortable for you. One big point of contention here has been the sales tax. I can put it this way. So the town of Boone easily makes up 75 to 80% of the sales tax revenue in the county.
Yeah.
Okay, so we get there's a giant, we are the
Because the rest of
economic
the county
engine.
is very
Rural. So the county gets a cut, and then it goes back to the municipalities. Okay, the rest of it will go back to the municipalities. Anyway, without getting formulaic, the percentages that are redistributed back to the municipalities are even. Well, as we see it, being the economic driver, I mean, we think that those percentages should be different and that they should definitely benefit Boone.
Fire and police are town things, right? Or at least for the town of Boone, because...
So we have a fire department and we have a police department. And then we also have rural fire districts, which are, like the
Fosco.
local fire department. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, because I drive through that on
There you
Banner because I see the giant Fosco Fire District sign,
Yes.
and I'm like...
Yeah, and they have a nice one, actually.
Yeah.
And then there's the sheriff's department.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's Blowing Rock PD and others.
So I asked the mayor about what he believes the future of this town is, and a lot of what he talked about has to deal with housing and the town expanding and everything like that. And this dorm is a representation of that, is that, students are going to be packed up in these dorms and everything like that. There's dorms all around here, and they're not necessarily going to want to have that, right? And as the town expands, it's going to get more and more impactful. So that's always an issue when looking towards the future. But besides that, I believe the future of the town is very bright, right? Because we have a lot of people who want to come here and who want to work here. Like you said, compared to other towns, right? Like other towns in the western part of the state that don't want more people, they are suffering because they don't grow in population. Boone does, and that's what's going to lead to Boone succeeding.
As a mayor and a citizen, what do you believe the future of Boone holds?
Jeez, I mean, the opportunities are abound. I mean, it's limitless, really, what we can do. I mean, I think what's important about that is one of the ways that I look at how I try to make decisions on behalf of Boone moving forward, which is a lot of what we do too, is how can Boone grow responsibly and still be Boone and still maintain its small mountain charm, its character, and its that feeling that you get, in Boone. And so that's a really difficult question because I grew up down east, North Carolina. So if you want, I can take you on a tour of towns down east that decided not to grow, right? They decided that they didn't, we don't want more people coming in. We don't want more. They didn't want it. And, but unfortunately they're failing. Those towns are really having real difficulty. And that's why it's important for me we can never say, no more growth in Boone, we're big enough, right? Now, but what we have to say is, how can we grow responsibly, but not lose touch with who we are?
And I know one of the biggest challenges here is the fact that we're in a valley and we're surrounded by peaks that rise 1,000 feet on all sides, and you can only expand so much, especially if we want spread out buildings, parking and everything like that, good roads. You can't really just, you know what I mean? You can only do so much here until you just start expanding miles away.
No, that's right. So there's a thing. There was a policy at one point in North Carolina that there were areas that were called extraterritorial jurisdiction. Okay, and what that is that's area outside of a town where they're allowed to grow. They're allowed for growth.
Yeah.
So that's basically the way it works, and we provide services, right?
Yeah.
In 2010, unfortunately, that was taken away from Boone, and that was politically driven, unfortunately. And there are people who think that does not need to come back.
Was that taken away by the county or by the state?
By the state.
By the state.
Mm-hmm.
So now, like that, down the road past like the Chick-fil-A where it says Town of Boone, that's like the border.
That's it. Yep.
Really?
You've been in Watauga County, but now you're just in Watauga County. You're not in Boone. And so, unfortunately, that leaves us with 6.5 square miles to grow within.
That's so tiny.
Here I'm at the Blowing Rock. So this is in Blowing Rock, North Carolina. It's very adjacent to Boone. This is one of the most historical tourism sites of pretty much anywhere in Western North Carolina except for the Biltmore, right? You have this magnificent view all the way from here to Grandfather Mountain down there. My sincere thanks goes out to you for watching this series. This was the first big project type of series I've done. I know that most of it was filmed in my dorm room. I really couldn't help that, but in the future, we're gonna get out more. We're gonna go all across the country. We're gonna visit all the state capitals, and this is just going to be the start of it all. Again, my goal with these videos is always to document the world, how it is, and to talk about what we can do to make the world a better place. So with that, if you have any suggestions on what we can do, please let me know in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching, and have a great day.